Welcome back to another segment of Boldly Now. And I am Rachel Morrison, and we have the amazing pleasure of being with Shamini Jain, and she is the CEO and co-founder of the Consciousness Healing Initiative and assistant professor at UC San Diego, right?
Right.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it's so amazing to have you here. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Rachel. It's an honor.
Absolutely. So let's touch into how you're doing. How have you been throughout this unique cycle that we're all experiencing? And what are some insights, either some self-reflections or insights on your immediate field around you that you'd like to share with us today?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So, I think like many people, there's talk about this time being a great pause. And it's interesting because I think for some of us, it doesn't feel like a pause, right? I mean, some of us, especially those of us in service in many different ways, kind of continuing on with the work, and whether it's our first responders or, folks like me and others that are providing resources, and our families are home, and it's a really super full life. So I have to say, when the COVID crisis first started, the two things that struck me the most were, wow, what an enormous gift for humanity to look ourselves in the eye and realize the reality of our own mortality. Right. And so that was really powerful and beautiful. And honestly, the other part of me was super grateful to be home with my family because I travel a lot and I had to cancel a lot of trips. Some of them looked to be really fun. And, there's a bit of disappointment there, but then also, wow, what a time for togetherness and to explore healing family relationships where we need to. How do we kind of harmonize? As Mother Teresa once said, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family. And so I think a lot of us are being called to do that. How do we provide harmony within ourselves and within our family unit so we can better provide that to the world? So that's been a tremendous gift. And I think like most people, I've also felt like super lonely. Like I miss going out. I miss going out to the, to the water, to the woods. I miss seeing my friends. Sometimes the days still feel so busy that, it's the end of the day and I'm like, man, I forgot to call my really good friend and we were going to talk today. So there's still sort of that residual busyness that has plagued me personally for many years. And yet I think this is an opportunity for us to take that great pause, even if it's just for 30 minutes or an hour a day in our spiritual practice, and really, allow us to kind of more deeply integrate with the divine forces that are surrounding us right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, you mentioned this great pause that we're experiencing and the vulnerabilities of the moment. And I'm remembering that very recently, you and everyone at the Consciousness Healing Initiative created a healing report right before all of this. I think I remember seeing something like that. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. So our nonprofit, the Consciousness and Healing Initiative, is a collaborative where we bring together scientists, healers, educators, leaders in the fields of holistic and integrative medicine to really explore what do we know about healing and how do we really foster systems change to bring healing to society. The ultimate goal is to lead humanity to heal ourselves. And a key way that we've been doing that is by exploring, the science and practice of healing in all of these different ways. So for a lot of people, what this means is areas that some people call energy medicine or subtle energy healing. We often call it biofield healing and biofield science. And as you might know, Rachel, for many people in our community, that's not new news, but for a lot of people in the greater community, it's really not well understood, appreciated, or even acknowledged, quite frankly, in medicine. And so our group has set out on a path to really discern and share the information about healing, because our wish is really that we come to a deeper understanding of who we are as human beings and what our capacity truly is to heal ourselves and one another. And this is really important right now because, as you know, the mainstream media, with the COVID crisis, is focusing on things, unfortunately, that tend to increase doubt, increase fear, increase polarization of thinking. We see all of this happening, and there hasn't been enough in the conversation to talk about what do we actually know about how we foster immunity in ourselves? How do we foster resilience? how does spiritual practice actually foster health all the way down to the physical level? So it's not like, oh, you know, if you're spiritual, you do your prayer over here, that really has no basis. Or, oh, you've got to throw out all of conventional medicine if you believe in spirituality and energy. So we're really trying to bridge that gap. And this report is really groundbreaking because it came out of over a year's worth of work by our team, interviews with over 60 stakeholders in the fields of education, policy, healing practitioners, cutting edge science. We've put all of that together to basically create a roadmap for the future for systems change that says, there's an evidence base here, and there needs to be more investigation into these energy fields, as we call them. We call it the biofield, the fields of energy and information that guide our health. We can talk about the biofield of a cell or the biofield of a person or the biofield of the earth, but what we know is that these fields of energy and information help heal us, and we can tap into them at any point through different types of mind, body, spirit, spiritual practices, right? So this report is a way of just sort of sharing what we know with the greater community at large and saying, these are the steps that we need to take now if we want to incorporate these healing therapies into healthcare and teach other people how to sense and use their energy field to foster healing in themselves and others. So it's super exciting. And we have a great website that has the 81-page report, the 11-page super short summary, and really cool infographics that people can get into and play with, you know, explore the data. And that's all available on our website we've created just for this report called reportonhealing.com. So reportonhealing.com will take you straight to those resources. And our website, you know, we have webinars and other things that we do as well, free webinars for the public with healers and with scientists and others. That's found on our website, which is chi.is, chi.is. So super easy way, you know, to provide these resources for the public because we want everyone to feel really resourced during this time. I mean, I think that's really the key. We need to know how strong our capacities are for fostering the changes we want to see. That's kind of step one, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I just, first of all, thank you for pulling something like that together. It's absolutely brilliant that you had the foresight to create something like this. And I'm curious, what if we had 3 takeaways from the healing report that people could maybe activate inside of themselves right now in this great pause? You know, some of us have the luxury of having the pause, but and as you said, some of us are deeply in the trenches of work and whatever is happening in our world. But what we do know is that when we come out of this experience that we're in right now, we're going to have an entirely new world to meet and then rebuild. And so it's very important for us to build our capacities in these moments that we have at home, so that when we go out, we can come out as healed, as rested, hopefully, and motivated to say what needs to be said and do what needs to be done. And taking care of ourselves, self-care is primary, most definitely. So with that, I'm curious, is there like 3 takeaways that people can do right now to help build their health at home, to help for the great preparation during this great preparation time?
So from the report, there are some, you know, key takeaways that I think everybody should know. And that is, first of all, there is a huge community of healers. We've identified, you know, hundreds of thousands of healing practitioners that are delivering healing services now. And, you know, the estimate is that, you know, the market share, if you want to call it that, is over 2 billion. And that's just a way of saying that there are a tremendous amount of healing practitioners that are out there delivering healing at this moment, which is pretty fantastic. We also learned that there are hundreds of biofield researchers across the world, including in top tier universities like Harvard and, you know, UCSF and other places, MD Anderson Cancer Center, that are carrying out this work. And so that's really fabulous as well. There's basically a huge community that wants to drive this forward collaboratively. And that's really important for us to know, because at the end of the day, even when we do our own self-practice, if we go to the emergency room and the only thing they have to give us is a painkiller, it's an issue, right? So just for folks to know that some of the takeaways from this report is that this is happening. There are groups that are wanting to work together to really galvanize this field forward in a huge way to help transform our sick care system into a healthcare system. Now, in terms of what we've learned from healers and, you know, my own practice about some key kind of biofield-based practices that we can take and use today, there are a couple, okay? One is grounding. So what do we mean by grounding? Grounding means different things, right? In the literature, in the psychological literature, grounding refers to something kind of specific, you know, relating to kind of focusing on something when you have anxiety. But here we're talking about bioenergetic grounding. And the data with bioenergetic grounding basically is done generally with mats, like with devices. And there's lots of data actually suggesting that using these devices that literally plug you into the earth, reduce your inflammation, improve your sleep, reduce your anxiety, and other things as well. You know, there's some evidence for changes in hormone function. So that's all great. But what's also interesting and what hasn't been studied actually yet, but has been around for thousands of years, is this idea of mind-body grounding, right? Grounding with the earth. So what does that look like? That is really a way of fostering our bioenergetic spiritual connection with the earth. And it's really easy to do. So if you like, we can do a practice right now, if that would be helpful.
Yeah, I love it.
Let's do that. I'm all into practice. You know, that's the most important thing that we can take away, is just doing the practice.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we do this? We're going to invite folks, whether you're sitting, standing, whatever, to just get comfortable here in your body and allow yourself to just feel your feet on the earth. Let your body breathe normally. Feel the air coming in. And then just draw your attention to your ankles and your feet. Let your feet rest gently on the earth, wherever it is. It could be an apartment floor, it doesn't matter. Just let your awareness rest here on your feet, the soles of your feet. And direct your breath there if you haven't already, so that you literally feel yourself breathing into your feet and down into Mother Earth. And if you feel any energy that kind of feels like it just needs to be released or discharged, just let it go down the legs, down the feet, and into the ground, so that you're literally being held by Mother Earth and feeling her support. Now, as you feel this connection with Mother Earth, you may actually feel her energy coming back up into you. And so allow yourself to feel that as well. Your feet are grounded on the earth. And you feel her energy coming up your legs, through the knees, into the thighs and the hips, your bladder, your sexual organs. Feel the energy coming up to the belly, up the body through the chest, and the back of the spine, the heart, the shoulders, just allowing her energy to touch you everywhere. Up the neck, up through the skull, the head, the eyes, the forehead or the third eye, And up and out through the top of your head. Just allow yourself to rest here for a moment. Feel yourself nurtured and supported by Mother Earth, knowing that you're a part of her. And ask her to guide you. When you're ready, if your eyes have been closed, you can allow yourself to gently open your eyes, thank yourself for giving yourself a little time for practice.
Amazing. Thank you for that. You know, before we head out, I want to mention that with most of the people that we've had the joy of spending time with in these interviews, in everyone's own unique way, have been saying it's time to connect back with Mother Earth, with the Earth, with the animating force of life, and come back into alignment with life, and to stop isolating ourselves from it in the ways that we have. And you know, hopefully during this time of this great pause, this great reset, these moments of isolation, of solitude, we can feel just exactly how disconnected all of us, because I don't think anyone is more connected than the other, for we're all actually connected, that we've all actually in some way or another chose to step away from life. And I think our hope here at One Earth Live and Boldly Now, and certainly with Chi as well, is that we find those moments to reconnect and to maybe make the declaration to stay connected, so that whether it's the earth, ourselves, or each other, there is actually no space that is between us, no distance that is between us, regardless of where we are on the planet and in what part of our journey we find ourselves in.
It's really well put, Rachel. That's really well put. And, you know, absolutely the data that we're seeing from the biofield science point of view absolutely supports that, right? And this is what healers will say too, when they work on folks from a distance and they connect. It's practically instantaneous. You know, my healing teacher, Reverend Rosalind Briere, often says, the biggest aura wins. Well, who's the biggest aura? It's the earth. It's Mother Earth, right? So when we're connected with her, she connects us to each other. And it's really just that simple. So it's just that remembering, as you say, that remembering and that surrendering to the divine force that animates us all.
Absolutely. Well, we are at our time for this moment together. But I know that I'll be carrying you and your wisdoms and all of your good intentions out into the world with me. And I really want to thank you so much for being with us today. And we all wish you the best at this next.
Thank you. Thank you for putting this together. It's really beautiful.